Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing okay today. We are going to be going through a bit more of an energetic flow today. So grab whatever you need. Grab yourself maybe some water. You're not going to need too many like blankets or pillows or anything for today's class. Just yourself and a mat if you need one. But you're also welcome to just practice on whatever you have. Yoga is about meeting ourselves where we are. There's no need for fancy stuff. You can just start. So this week we've been going through different elements of the yamas, which is part of the 8-limbed path of yoga. So yoga is an 8-limbed path where the end goal is enlightenment. So as Muslims, we can see the end goal as just being a connection with Allah. So we go through different stages. We start with our behavior, we work through to our physical body, and then through to like meditation, contemplation, that kind of thing. So this week we were looking at the yamas, which is the first limb, and that is what not to do. So it's things we should be avoiding, and it's kind of like a blueprint on how to treat other people. So it's perfect alongside the sunnah because they're basically exactly the same things. They're just explained from completely different times, completely different cultures, but the same underlying idea of just treating other people nicely. So Monday, we were looking at non-harm. Tuesday, we were looking at non-lying. Yesterday, we were looking at non-stealing. So making sure that we're not taking anything that's not ours. And today is about energy moderation. So this limb is called brahmacharya. It's also translated as abstinence or control. So we can see it in Islam as things that are haram faz, things that we're not allowed to do, things that we shouldn't be doing, or things that we shouldn't be doing as much of. So we can think about energy moderation in terms of thoughts, words, actions, and practices like yoga are a good way to help us figure out our own energy and restore our own balance. So today we're going to be going through quite an energetic heat building flow. So if at any point you feel you need to slow it down, bring yourself into child's pose, bring yourself into a comfortable seat and take a break. That's what today's class is all about. So I've created a flow that's a little bit more challenging just for the exact purpose of you being able to listen to your own body and figure out what it is exactly that you need to do today. So don't just follow me. I want you to listen to what your body is talking to you about. So maybe just getting into a comfortable position, coming to sit with your legs crossed, with your hands on your knees, and we're just closing down the eyes. We're coming into our bodies and we're settling into the class. So bringing your awareness to how your body feels in space, whether you feel heavy or light. How the breath feels, if it's coming in with ease, if you're noticing any restriction or difficulty. And then start to bring your awareness to your energy levels, how you feel in terms of what you can do today. Just slowing down the breath. So when we think about energy moderation in terms of a yoga flow, you can think about creating an honest assessment of your body. So as we're sat here, start to create a body scan. So start to think about the different parts of your body, how they feel today. If there's anything that you're going to need to stay out of because it feels sore, if there's anything that needs more of a stretch. And then as we go through the class, we're constantly coming back to that breath. It's a sign. If the breath gets constricted, it's a sign to step back or modify. Today is not about pushing through. Today is about listening and adapting. So we're choosing that safety over pushing ourselves. We're integrating these concepts of non-harm, non-stealing, non-lying, and we're using it all to reflect on what our bodies need today. So bringing the soles of your feet together to touch, and then shuffling your hips forward, come back onto your forearms. And we're just going to come all the way down onto our backs and start today's class with your right hand on your stomach, your left hand on your heart. And we're just taking some nice, full, deep breaths here. You might want to place something under your knees just to support them. But you can also just let them hang, let gravity work its way into your hips. And then as we're breathing, we're thinking about the Ujjayi breath that I was talking about yesterday. So staying in a reclined position. If you weren't here yesterday, I'll talk you through how to do this one. So as you inhale, you're constricting your throat. So imagine you're blowing onto a glass window in front of you, like to make the condensation. You're creating that sensation, but then close your mouth. So you can direct the air out of the nose, but with that same constriction. So it's a very audible breath, and it's really good at grounding the body and bringing you back into the present moment. So in our reclined position, on your next inhale, just try and squeeze your throat slightly as the air comes in. And it will make an audible sound like the waves of an ocean crashing. And then as you breathe out, it's the same constriction, the same feeling, but the air's coming out of your nose. Inhale this way. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then just sticking with this breath throughout the practice. It's a really good way of slowing your breath down and just controlling the oxygen as it comes in. So coming back up onto your forearms now, we'll come into our bound angle. So we're sat up with our feet in the same position. Your heels can be closer to your body or further away. Just figure out which works best on your hips. And then we're going to take the right hand onto the left knee. The left hand comes behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to twist to the left. Inhale to bring yourself back to center. Cross the arms over if you can reach. And then we're going to twist to the other side. So right hand comes behind you. Left hand is on the right knee. Inhale to bring everything back to center. Bring the left hand next to you on the left hand side. Right arm comes up overhead. Stretch through the fingertips. At the same time, you're trying to push your knees down. So it's this opposing movement of lengthening and then pushing the knees down. So really coming through the fingertips there, breathing into the side body. Inhale yourself back up to center, and then drop the right hand and lift the left arm up. You can come down further onto your hand, stay up on your fingertips. It's up to you. Inhale to come all the way back up, and then exhale to walk the hands in front of you as far as you can. So you're pulling your chest as close to your feet as possible. Inhaling to come all the way back up. Excuse me. Coming onto all fours now into our tabletop position. We're going to do some cat-cows, so dropping the stomach, lifting the face. Inhale, and then exhale to push the ground away from you, round through the spine. Inhale to drop the stomach. Exhale to round the spine and gaze down. Inhale to drop the stomach. Exhale, round the spine, look down. And then we're going to start to make these movements a little bit bigger. So as you drop your stomach and gaze up, I want you to send your weight forward over your wrists. And then as you come back, round through the spine and pull. So you're kind of making this really big circle with your torso as you're moving the spine. So just play about with this. See if you can work into areas of the spine that you couldn't really feel before. Just use your breath to really mobilize the spine and all of the muscles around it. And we're also warming up the wrists here too. Good. Okay, so lifting that right leg up, lifting the left leg up. We're coming into our balancing table. If this is too much for you, you can keep your left hand on the floor. Maybe just hover the fingertips just over so you're not fully on that weight of the hand. And then maybe you can play about with lifting the hand. But we're pulling all of our weight up. Exhale to squeeze your elbow to your knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to squeeze. And inhale to lengthen. Good. And then we're going to drop that right knee and then turn the foot to the side. Bring all of our weight into that right hand. Extend your left leg and then lift the right arm up, the left arm up to the sky. So we're in this supported side plank. Imagine a piece of string is pulling your hip all the way up to the sky. On your next inhale, ground down through the whole of that left foot. Squeeze into this left leg and then lift yourself up. Bring your left hand to that left knee and then lift that right arm all the way up overhead. And we're going to flow between these two poses with the breath now. So exhale to drop the right hand. Lift the left arm up overhead. Inhale to come back up. Straighten the right arm up overhead. So exhaling down. Inhaling back up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. And then last one, Bring both hands back down and come back to your tabletop. So if at any point in this class today you do feel it's getting a bit too intense, you're struggling, just come into your child's pose, take a rest, catch your breath, and then meet us wherever we are. There's absolutely no pressure to follow along with this whole thing. This whole class's idea is about you listening to your body and making your own decisions about what energy you have to give today. So now lifting up, the left leg. No, the right leg. Sorry. I think I need another coffee. Lift up the right leg this time, and then the left arm. Squeezing, pulling them all up, and then drop, and then lift that left leg up, and then play about with maybe hovering on those fingertips of the right hand, and then lifting everything up. So just holding this position first, really engaging the core, making sure you're all stable. Your shin and the top of that right foot is pressing down against the mat. And then exhale to squeeze, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen everything out. Exhale, squeeze, elbow to knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale to come to that straighten position one more time. And then we're going to drop the left knee and bring all of our weight onto that as we straighten that right leg. All of the upper body weight is in your left arm. Right arm comes up overhead. And so we're really pushing into the outer edge of that right foot to help lift up that hip. As you inhale, bring all of your weight into that straight leg, bring yourself all the way up, and then sweep the arms over. So your right arm is down the right leg, the left arm is overhead. You can bring your gaze either to your hand or to the floor. Exhale to drop the left hand, bring the right arm up overhead. Inhale to come back up, left arm comes up overhead. Exhale to drop, right arm comes up overhead. Inhale up. And exhale down. Good. Then coming back to your child's pose, just sinking the hips back to the heels, really straightening across the top of the back through the fingertips, dropping that head down. And then we're going to push our hips up to the sky, tuck the toes, and come into our down dog. You're welcome to also just take your child's pose here, whichever variation feels more natural for you this morning. You can bend into your right knee, then bend into the left, just feeling into your hamstrings, feeling into your hips. And then we're going to ripple ourselves forward. So bringing your big toes to touch. And we're going to kind of imagine a piece of string is pulling the top of your spine all the way up to the top of the mat. And we're in our plank. Now, if this is too intense for you, you can just go ahead and lower the knees. That's absolutely fine. But you can also try and maybe challenge yourself a little bit to build that strength in the upper body. This is such an important pose for most of the yoga practice that you'll be doing. Holding it for one more breath. And then push yourself back to your down dog or your child's pose, whichever you feel is better for you right now. And then we're going to inhale to bring your right foot in between your hands. Bring your hands on top of that knee, lift up that chest, coming into your Anjanasana or your low lunge. Inhale to bring the arms up overhead, And we're going to bring them to a 90-degree angle. So you're bending the elbows, cactusing the arms, we call this. We're cactusing the arms next to us. And as you do that, sink your hips more. So you're pulling your chest forward and dropping your hips. This is a little bit more of an intense variation. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale, drop the left hand next to the right foot and then twist open towards that right hand. So we're looking up at the sky. Drop the right hand, in the middle of the foot, and then shuffle that right foot all the way to the outer edge of the mat. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and we're just going to rock back and forth in this lizard variation. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and then we're coming onto the outer edge of the right foot. You can stay here or you can use your right hand to push that knee away from you even more. I'm really sinking the left hip down to the floor. Good. Bringing that right hand down to the mat, tucking that back toe, and we're going to come all the way back into our down dog. So lift the hips, send that right foot back into our down dog. And then this time we're inhaling to bring the left foot in between the hands, dropping the back knee first, coming into our low lunge. So before we cactus the arms, really think about squaring your hips, imagining your spine as a long line pointing all the way down to the mat. So we're not like curving or anything, we're straight. And then now we'll inhale the arms up, bend the elbows, and that's when we can sink into the hips. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale to drop the right hand inside the left foot. Lift the left arm up, gazing up at the fingers. And then we're coming onto that outer edge of that left foot again. And then we can use that hand to push the knee away, or we can use the hand to stay on the mat to keep our stability. Good. And then bringing both hands back down to the mat, stepping back to your down dog. This time stepping both feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat. And we're going to sink our hips down into a chair pose. So sinking the hips, bending the knees, and then lifting the arms up overhead. Tuck the pelvis as much as you can. Can you see I've got this bend in my back here? I'm going to try and eliminate that by tucking the pelvis. Arms come up overhead. And then bringing the palms together, exhale to bring your left elbow to your left knee. We're twisting. You can either stay here or you can play about with maybe lifting that left foot and sending it back into a twisted lunge. Remember, we're just seeing what we can do today. I'm giving you lots of variations so you can test yourself, but you can also pull it back. Turning to face the front of the mat, drop your hands, step the back foot back ever so slightly, and then we're going to fold over that front knee. So you might need to keep a bend in that knee. We're folding over. Breathing deeply here. Inhale to lift your torso, step the left foot back, sink your hips down, we come back into our chair. Squeezing the thighs together, where most of our weight is on our heels rather than our toes. And then exhale to bring your right knee to your left elbow. We're twisting. You can keep your gaze at the floor, or you can look up at that left elbow. And then if you feel you're stable here, maybe you can lift up that right foot and come back into your twisted lunge on the other side. Keep your gaze fixed on one spot. Exhale to bring both hands back down to the mat. Step that back foot back forward ever so slightly. We're in a shorter stance now, and then we're folding over that front leg. So your hands can be on the shin, they can be on the floor, they can be on your hips if you're struggling to reach the ground, or you can have blocks. And then inhale to step your right foot forward, meeting the other one. And we're going to sink the hips all the way down, slowly, slowly coming to a seated position. So coming into our pigeon pose now, taking the right leg. So the right foot is on the left side of the mat. Right knee is on the right side of the mat. And then we're going to sink the hips down. Now, if you need like a cushion or something to rest your hips on, you can do that here. But we're going to let our hips come all the way down as much as they can, keeping them squared. Keeping a nice, strong, straight spine here. And then on your next exhale, walking the hands down, coming maybe onto your forearms, maybe down onto your forehead, but just bringing that torso as far down as you can. Inhaling to walk the arms back up. Putting all of your weight onto your right hip now. Lifting up that back knee. So you're bringing that left foot into your left hand. And then just pull that foot as close to your glute as you possibly can. So we're giving ourselves a nice stretch along the front of the left leg. You can hold it whichever way is easiest for you. But you can also maybe try and get that foot into your elbow crease and use the elbow crease to pull you in a little bit further. Exhaling to drop that back foot. Staying on that right hip, we're going to swing the left leg round and bring the knee on top of the other knee. So your knees are stacked. Your feet are out to the sides. You might be able to shuffle them in closer towards the body, or they might stay out further. It's absolutely fine. Just rest your hands wherever is natural. Keeping a nice straight spine here. And then exhaling, maybe bringing your torso down towards that top thigh. Inhale to bring yourself all the way back up to standing. And we're going to take a fun little transition now. So we're going to turn your body towards the right and bring your hands as if they're coming behind you. And then this left foot, you're going to lift your hips up, come into your hands, put your weight into that left foot, push your hips up, turn to face the back of the mat, and now we're in this wide-legged fold. So from here, you can just let the upper body hang heavy. The hands might come to the floor, they might be hovering a little bit, that's okay. As long as you can feel a nice stretch in the backs of the hamstrings here. Maybe walking the hands to one leg, exhaling to fold. And then walking the hands over to the other leg and folding there. And then inhale to come back up to your wide-legged fold. And we're going to keep turning. So drop your left knee down to the floor and twist yourself around to face the front of the mat. And your legs should be in the opposite position. This is one of my favorite transitions. So you should be with your right leg on top of your left leg now. Taking that same position we were in before. And then maybe if you folded, bringing your torso down to your thigh. When you're in this position, if you fold and your right sit bone comes up off the mat, then bring it back down and then maybe come out of the fold a little bit. But make sure both of your sit bones are on the floor. And then inhale yourself back up to seated, And we're going to come into pigeon on the other side. So sweeping the right leg all the way to the back of the mat and then squaring your hips, maybe coming up onto that cushion again if you need that. Bringing the left foot closer to the right hip to make this easier. So the further away your foot is from your hip, the harder this one will be. So bring that foot all the way in towards your hip, square them up, come up nice and strong onto the fingers. Big deep breath, and then as you exhale, sink yourself down onto your forearms, onto your forehead, whichever feels most comfortable. Then inhaling yourself back up, we're coming onto the left sit bone now, bending the right foot and bringing it in towards the body. So you can grab that foot with the hand and we're pulling that foot in towards the glute. You can feel a nice stretch along the front of the hip, front of the thigh. And then just like last time, maybe you can wiggle that foot into the elbow crease of the right hand and use that to pull the foot in. Eventually, we're aiming to get the top arm up here into our mermaid. But if that's not happening today, that's absolutely fine. We'll take it step by step. So exhaling to drop that foot. Swing the right leg all the way around. And straighten the legs out in front of you. Point the toes all the way up to the sky. Press into the mat with the backs of your knees. Bring your hands so they're settled right next to your hips. Push down through the palms. This is Dandasana or staff pose. And I really want you to think about pushing, broadening across the chest, spreading the collarbones. Nice long spine. It's harder than it looks if everything's engaged. And then exhale to fold over your legs. Your hands can come wherever. They can come to the mat next to you. They can come to your shins, to your feet, wherever you need to hold. And then just fold over the legs. And then inhale to bring your torso back up. And then shuffle yourself down, coming all the way onto your back. Let the feet fall out to the sides, let the hands fall out to the sides. Close down the eyes and just start to notice as your breath and your heart rate come back to their normal pace. Noticing how the body feels at the end of this practice. We're just taking these last few moments in our Shavasana to thank ourselves for everything we've done. I'm going to leave you in silence for a minute or so just to sit with your breath, sit with your body. And then I will bring you out of your Shavasana after a minute or so. So take this time to really reflect on how you feel inside, how your mind and your body are feeling. So just maybe slowly introducing some movement to your fingers and to your toes. And just staying in this comfortable reclined position for the last few moments of meditation. Thinking about the benefits of moderating our energy, of abstaining from certain things. And there's the hadith that says, verily you will never leave anything for the sake of Allah Almighty, but that Allah will replace it with something better for you. So we can think about this as we're leaving things for the sake of Allah in the month of Ramadan. There's no more morning coffee, there's no more music or lunch dates with your friends, but we know that what we get in return is far greater. And by conserving our energy, by living mindfully, we can reduce stress and create a more harmonious environment with our families, with our friends. And it's an inner balance. It's creating this inner balance that allows us to live more freely, with more joy, and more aligned with our higher purpose. So just taking these last few minutes of the practice to maintain that connection with your breath, with your body, and thanking yourself for taking this time to control your energy. As we come into the last few days before Ramadan, this is the perfect way to prepare your body mentally and physically for the challenge of fasting. So I will read you a verse from the Quran before we leave. And this one is reflecting on life's impermanence. So the verse is, every soul will taste death, and you will only receive your full reward on the day of judgment. How does this verse encourage deep contemplation regarding life's impermanence and the eternal rewards of the hereafter? Reflect on how this verse can shape your priorities and actions in this worldly life. So we can take this into the month of Ramadan with us, knowing that whatever we give up in this dunya will be replaced better in the hereafter, inshallah. So thank you so much for joining me here this morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's class. I know it was a bit of a spicy one. But yeah, I hope you were able to assess your own energy levels and listen based on that. So I will, inshallah, see you again tomorrow. We'll be hosting a yin class again tomorrow. So Fridays are going to be a little bit of a slower class, looking at aparigraha, or non-attachment, which is a very important topic in Islam too. So yeah, inshallah, I will see you again tomorrow. I hope you have enjoyed today's class and have a good rest of your day. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.